Karchuk fight. That was fight 229, and I'm fucking crazy, which means that I'm about to get in the car and drive up to Chiang Mai and have fight 230 tonight. I have Karahat in my corner. This is Karchuk. I think this is like my 8th Karchuk fight, I'm not sure, but I fought a girl whose girlfriend I fought before. I've never fought her, Nanghong. She was good. Karchuk is knockout or nothing, so you don't give any points, which means that I didn't win or lose, it's just a draw. But I'm kind of scrambled for time, trying to like get rinsed off and back in the car to go have my next fight. But everyone was really cool. I love fighting Karchuk, and I talked to the promoter, so I'm probably fighting on Christmas as well. So 229 in the books, Karahat in my corner, about to get in the car with Karahat and drive to my next one. This is my second fight of the day, so 5 hours and a few hundred miles away from here. I had fought Karchuk earlier in the day, and then was not cut in that fight. Contacted the promoter. I said, I'm not cut, I'm getting in the car, we're racing up, and we drove a few hundred miles and for 5 hours to get to Chiang Mai so that I could fight this fight on the same day. It was a booking error is why I ended up doing that. It was not a like, let's plan this. Instead it was, I had made an error in my booking and was like, fuck it, let's do both. And it's the first time I've ever done something like that. If you want to watch that other fight, Kevin made a really beautiful little video of that. You can find that on YouTube. But this is against Nanghong, who I've fought many times before. She's only beat me once, which was by doctor stoppage with a cut. That's Karahat, my hero, my idol, and not only was he in my corner for this fight, but he was in my corner for the previous fight. So all day it was like Karahat cornering for me, getting me ready for fights, jumping in the car, driving up to Chiang Mai, and then fighting again. But this is Taipei Stadium in Chiang Mai, and I think this is the first time Karahat has cornered for me up here. He used to be a promoter at this stadium. He lived in Chiang Mai for I think 7 years or so, and he was a promoter at this stadium, so this was kind of like a little bit of a homecoming for him, which was really cool. And I am geeking out because if you look at Karahat's shirt, he is wearing a Sao Nakwen Kao Miss Gangster Knee shirt. To have your hero wear you on their shirt is awesome. And then just being able to like have Karahat in my corner anytime is awesome. He's an amazing presence. He has a very, very nice energy in fights. I'm also really excited. I like this referee who's reffing our fight. She's a female referee, which is very unusual, although Taipei does have 1 or 2 at any given time, which is cool because Cobb Cassette, who runs Taipei, is very female friendly in terms of making promotions that have, there are at least 1 or 2 female fights on every single card. And he's been promoting women for a really long time. So one of the reasons that Chiang Mai is like one of the best places in the world for female Muay Thai, if not the best place, is because of Cobb. So this is Nanghong Liangprasert. She's probably 54 kilos, which is much bigger than me. I walk around at 47, and I think that because of fighting this day and driving and all of those things, I think I actually weighed in under 47 for this fight. So the weight difference between us was probably somewhere around 7-8 kilos. She's a really good fighter. She's very smart. She's really good at timing. Her fucking legs are so big and heavy when she kicks. And we've fought each other a bunch of times. So one of the cool things about fighting the same person multiple times is that it forces you to adapt. And I would say that's even especially the case when you're the one who wins, because they know what wasn't working for them and they make adjustments, whereas when you're the one who won, you don't really think about what they were doing that was working, and so you don't really have the same homework that they have. So in rematches, I've found often the person who lost the fight before makes bigger strides and improvements, and it forces you to grow too. So I actually really like rematches. I also like that Nanghong cannot handle my clinch. I like that very much because if I just played a kicking game with her, there's no way. She's just, her timing and skill is just too good in the kick game, so I have to stay closer to her in order to fight my fight. Also at this fight, Walt Zink, who's a photographer out of Boston, he happened to be here and he came and shot this fight, and he got some really beautiful shots from this fight that he put on Instagram, and you can go look at on his Instagram or on his Facebook page. But there were some really, really nice shots to come out of this. Walt's very good. I like Nanghong's Muay crew. It's really pretty. I almost never get to see it because I'm always doing mine. But I remember at this moment doing the Muay crew feeling like, I don't fucking care. I already fought today. Like, I've already bashed my shin. I've already done any of the things that might hurt in this fight, so it's already there. And so I just didn't care. Like, I could lose both fights and it wouldn't matter, because the experience of doing something like this is just so valuable in and of itself. My previous fight being Karchuk means that there's no points, so it was a draw because there's no knockout. But one of the things I really like about Karchuk is that because there's no points, you have this freedom to just fight any way you want to fight. You're not like trying to keep up on a scorecard, and you're trying to knock someone out. But having had that energy as my fight leading into this one, it's like just have another Karchuk fight, even though this one has points given. Karahat also is just totally game. Like, he does not care. He knows what fighting is. He knows what this process is. And when I told him that we were going to do this, that we were going to go to Pitsanulok and fight, and then jump in the car and come up to Chiang Mai and fight again on the same day, he was just like, okay, pick me up at 10. Like, no hesitation on his part at all whatsoever. He's awesome. There's Kevin's impossible task of filming my fights and also filming them on a different camera for the live stream. He's amazing the way he juggles everything. So Nanghong has had success with me with low kicks, so she's going into that pretty good, but she's also throwing head kicks, which is very smart, because when you put me into max guard, it limits what I'm able to do. So by forcing me to guard, it's really good to do this high-low thing. But on top of that, you can kick me in the head because sometimes I drop my guard. It's, you know, a good game plan on her part to go high-low like this. I basically just need to keep close to her, and my shins are already bashed from my Karchuk fight. They're already a little bit sore and mushy. But kind of once you block once in a fight, they're like that anyway, so it's not that different coming into a fight with sore shins versus having sore shins after 20 seconds. Wow, you can really see our size difference there, though. Look at her bottom half compared to my bottom half. She's so thick in the legs. They are heavy, too, when they come crashing on you. Look at her timing, though. She's throwing her left side into my closed side, which is not scoring highly, but she's just going after my legs a little bit. I need to stay closer than this, and part of having fought already today, because I have this I don't give a fuck attitude, it should actually help me stay closer. I think I'm a little bit affected by those low kicks, but early rounds in a fight, like rounds 1 and 2, on a scorecard, they don't really matter that much. It's just putting in your, like, story arc points. But here, once I get locked up on her, this is where I do well. So she's really good at kicking range. Here, she's using her weight on me a little bit. Like, I let her walk me into the ropes, which is not good. I need to keep everything in the middle of the ring. But these are things that, because I fight the way I do, it's consistent. Like, in every single fight, I need to stay closer. In every single fight, I need to be doing the same things that I need to be doing in this one. And then the person they put in front of me just puts different obstacles in the way of achieving that. It was kind of funny because in my previous fight, Karahat was yelling at me to do something. He doesn't really yell. He was telling me to do something over and over again, and I wasn't doing it. So I basically had a 5-hour car ride to think about how I hadn't done what he was asking me to do. And then you get in the ring to fight again, and it's a different opponent, and you still have to do that thing he was telling you to do in the previous fight, but like with different cards on the table. I think he wants me to teep as I'm coming in. One of the hard things about being a forward fighter or a Dern fighter is that you can't just march in and grab. Like, you have to use weapons at longer range on your way in. And learning how to do that, for me, has been really challenging. And it's only recently that I've really realized that what makes that so hard for me is my footwork. That if I change my footwork, all of that stuff comes together. So I have this thing we call the gallop. She just hit me in the head. She totally kicked me in the head, and I had a little, like, in Thai they call it Mao. It means, like, drunk. She rung me a little bit. So now I really need to stay closer. Gallop. Kevin's telling me to use that footwork. That's not it. That's just hopping in, but that also works. So Nanghong knows that really the only way she can beat me is A, kicking me in the head, which she's never done that well before, but B, if she cuts me. So she often does this thing where she's creeping backwards and just loading up on her elbow. That's actually really good for me when she gets single-minded like that, because it makes her really still, and I can close distance with her just waiting to throw a single shot. But so I'm just trying to protect myself on the way in now from that head kick. But once we're inside like this, it's really hard for a lot of women to score from this position. They're often trying to get out of the clinch or just hug so tight that the ref comes and saves them. But I can score from that distance, so that's a good distance for me. And I'm really strong, so despite our weight difference, which is a good, like, 15 plus pounds that she has on me, being able to move people in the clinch like that as the smaller fighter is what makes it really hard, why people don't really want to fight me. This is why all my opponents are so much bigger than me, is that I have strength at that distance. Keep your hand up! So Kevin's just screaming at me to keep my hand up, because really that's the most effective thing she's had on me in this fight. Oh, that's really good, the way she pushed my head down. You can see the tangle, though, when we get into the ropes. She's really smart to try to stay in the ropes like that, because she can use her weight to her advantage when we're in the ropes, and the ref can come and break it. My obstacle is to try to get her into the center of the ring, because that's where I do better. And that's where my power can actually have an effect. And it's like pulling someone into space. Like, weight doesn't matter in space. But when you're on an object, the gravity starts to have effect. So that's why she wants to get into the ropes and I want to stay, like, out in outer space. There's a nice urgency, though, here. You can see now Karahat has jumped into the ring, whereas he stayed outside the ropes in the first round. Sylvie, for anything. Kevin saw me get rung by that head kick, so he's very urgently telling me not to bring my hand down for anything. I actually have a little bit of a hard time understanding what Karahat tells me to do. It's not that it's complicated advice. It's that the way that he tries to tell me what he wants me to do is not a complete explanation of what's currently happening. Like, a lot of people will say, like, something really simple, like step harder on your kicks or keep your hand up or something like that. He builds into it something that's happening in the fight without expressing what it is that's happening in the fight. So if he wants me to, like, teep right, he won't just say teep right. He'll, like, give me this complicated thing about where my feet are, which is really funny that he's like that in the corner, because that's actually how he trains me. But when he's training me, I'm in a different mental state and I totally get what he's saying. But in the corner, I have a really hard time. This face smush that she's doing is really good because I'm overturned on that side. That's the reason Karahat turned me southpaw, is because of this overturn. But I'm able to kind of pull myself out of it a little bit better now and keep scoring on that side. This spinning thing that's happening, this is really good for me. I was locked onto her, man. This is Sylvie zone right here. Threw an elbow at her. That made me happy. I owe this girl some serious stitches. I've never given her stitches, but one of these days. Look at that distance she takes. It's nice. She moves backwards really well. She actually looks really good in this fight against me, but I'm a persistence hunter. I think that put her down a little bit hard. So for the story arc of this fight, she's actually scoring like these little points as I'm coming in, but I'm scoring really big once we're in close. And so for the story arc, I basically just have to keep crushing her down, and the more I can stay sticky on her, the better the fight looks for me as we go, like, later. So now she's starting to get a little bit overwhelmed, so it makes it easier for me to close this distance because she's not tagging me on the way in as much. That's the elbow that she's trying to get to me. But my ability to just track her down and grab her, and she's trying to look more energetic than she's actually feeling. This is when the story starts to change. This was a beautiful photo by Walt. Walt got an incredible photo right there as I was walking away from her after putting her down. It's one of my favorite fight photos ever. Oh, nice kick from her as I came in. So this is a difficult thing, is that was a super dominant round for me, but it's round 3. So because it's right in the middle of the fight, I have to keep ascending. Like, I have to get better than this. So you can't just have a really strong third round and then dip back down. You have to continue with your takeoff. So I have to do better than I just did, even though that was really good, which can be a little bit difficult. You can hear the urgency. Pinoy is like yelling at me to go harder. Like, once I get in and grab her, that's when you have to do work. You can't just hold. So they're telling me to stop staying at a distance. Just go in and grab her and throw those knees. Karahat wants me to knee left. Nanghong and I have opposite stances. She stands orthodox and I stand southpaw. So our front sides are to each other, but that means that our power sides are to each other also. So the reason Karahat wants me to knee left is because that's into her open side, which means it does way more damage and scores much higher. I have a tendency to knee with my right knee because I'm actually naturally orthodox. But the way that we're standing, that left knee is going to do a lot more damage. So Karahat is reminding me to do a little skip back to create distance and land that left knee into her open side. Oh, you can see Nanghong does not like fighting me.
No, go forward.
I'm no fun to fight.
Forward, Sylvie, gallop.
So Kevin's yelling at me to stay closer because I have to. Her glove just came off. Like, her glove just fully came off of her hand. She gets a little bit of a rest while they put that back on. But another amazing photo that Walt got is right as her glove came off, and she spreads her hand to show the referee that she needs a break to put the glove back on. And I'm putting my arms out like, what the fuck, keep your shit together. I'm annoyed that her hand is out of the glove.
Don't go back.
This is a serious thing for her to have this kind of a break because in terms of our two styles, I can go for days. Like, I do not want her to be able to breathe, and she's getting a huge break right here after having just had a break in the corner. So this is an advantageous, it is a mistake, but it's an advantageous moment for her.
Oh, they're getting a nice rest.
So there's a little bit of a jump in the recording here because the camera battery ran out, and so we've had to go over to the live stream. But again, here Nanghong is getting a nice rest coming into this round. after just having a rest between the rounds. And poor Sylvie has to stand there in the corner like a bad girl and wait for her to have her glove put back on. For the record, I can totally slide my gloves off almost all the time, but Pinoy put them on super tight this one fight. So Kevin's telling me not to back up because I have Nanghong tired already. So keeping the pressure on her, especially after her just getting a rest. She cut me at some point, I think in the last round, on my chin. She elbowed my chin and split my chin open. I've never been cut there from a fight before, although I do have a matching scar from dengue fever when I fainted onto the reception counter at the hospital to be really dramatic. So here you can see she's trying to snuff my clinch, and I'm just wearing her down. I have kind of a lower clinch lock there, and I'm able to just keep moving her. When you go down like this, when both of you go down, the person who lands on top tends to get the point there. So you'll see girls actually like roll on the ground to try to be on top. I'm starting to catch her kicks because they're getting lower and slower. But here, I'm just nailing her with these knees and dragging back. So the ref just calls it off, and I am in full fuck you mode. Spitting my mouthpiece out, that's not really something I generally do, but this pacing around is indicative of how pumped I was to hurt her in that last round there. So that was a round 4 knockout, and I do remember thinking to myself that if I had fought my Karchuk fight the way that I had fought this fight, it would have been really good. I love Karahat coming in there and putting his arm around me. I don't have any photos of me and him in the ring together. That's the only one. And then Pinoy coming in here so that we can get photos from the other end of the ring as well. This announcer is always very flattering. He talks about how insanely strong I am and how nobody my same size can fight me and things like this, which is a really nice thing to have announced about you as you're like sealing the ring, getting ready to fight someone so much bigger. The sound might be a little off, and there's a little bit of speed up here because it's the live stream, so you guys are watching like chipmunk version. But this is always really nice coming out of the ring. People are very excited, wanting to take pictures, and you get to be kind of this field of merit as you're coming out. So a couple of these people are regulars at Taipei, and then some of these people are just people who are there only for that night. Sometimes people know who I am, and sometimes they don't. But I'm always happy to meet people before and after my fights. People are always very, very cool. So if they take me back here, this is where I get my stitches. There are 2 doctors that work at Taipei as ring doctors, and both of them have stitched me many times before. I'm a frequent flyer in the stitches world of these ring doctors. I'm still all kind of like agitated from my fight. There's this repeated joke that actually I created. I'm the first one to say it, but then people have jumped on it, and now all the Thai guys at the ring really like this joke, which is, if there's no cut, it's not really Sylvie. So this is where, this table is super wonky. You just lay down and get your stitches. Not bad. I think it was 3.
Hey. This is post-fight 2:30, which 2:29 was like 6 hours ago. So I fucked up. Like, I thought I was fighting on a different day than I was fighting, and when I contacted Cobb here in Chiang Mai to figure out why I wasn't on the poster for the day I thought that I was fighting, he's like, no, you're fighting on the 26th. So when you fuck up your schedule, you just make it work. So the way we made that work is that I fought Karchuk today in Pisanulok, Karahat in my corner. That was fight 229. You finish that.
That was what?
you were in the ring at like 4:30.
We left at 5,
Yeah.
which was the absolute latest we could leave. So we're like, Cara, get in the car. Get in the car. Drive up to Chiang Mai, texting the promoter on the way up, Cobb, I didn't get cut, I'm on my way. And he's like, drive safe. We drive, get out of the car.
5 hours.
5 hours, and have, what, like an hour before my fight? And they even made me
earlier.
earlier.
We got there so early.
I drive fast. I drive really good. I drove with the speed limit. I was very safe.
Thank you.
So, I fought in Pitsanulok, drove 5 hours, got out of the car, fought again here in Chiang Mai, and I have to say, well, one, I won knockout against Nanghong, who's not my favorite opponent to fight emotionally, but she's actually a really good opponent for me.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's like I actually kind of really like her when I'm not fighting her, but I don't like fighting her. I got cut. I got 3 stitches on my chin, which I actually got stitches on my chin one time before when I passed out when I had dengue fever. So that's slightly new, slightly not, but these are from fighting. So
Your
that's
stitch count
203 is my stitch count now. 3 is like nothing. Everyone was so excited to see Karahat because he's a fucking superstar and he used to live up here in Chiang Mai.
He hasn't been here in 3 years.
He hasn't been here in 3 years, which I actually think is longer than that. But this is the thing I have to say that I was going to say earlier before I realized I hadn't caught you up on everything that was happening. One, Karahat is my hero and I love him so much and I want to be him. He's like my Batman that I just really want to be him. But I have to say thank you to him because when I told him that we were doing this, he didn't even bat an eyelid. He didn't say I was crazy.
A little bit.
He didn't say, are you sure you want to do that? He didn't say, I don't think you should do that. He didn't say it was dangerous. He just said, Rap Sap, which means like, message received. It's like, yes, Karahat's the best. He had no problem. His knee hurts and he doesn't care that he had to like sit in the car for like 6 hours yesterday, 5 hours today.
Yeah.
And that's going to be like 10 hours back on Wednesday. But basically, not only that, he's also wearing a Sao Nakling cow shirt.
Which we gave him, right?
We gave him. I also gave him a shirt of himself, which I think he's like me and he's a little self-conscious about wearing a shirt of himself. But he's also like me in that he will wear it eventually. So we gave him a Karahat shirt and we gave him a Sao Nakling cow shirt. And he's such a superstar. When he was walking around, everyone is like coming up to me and in whispers, they're like, how is Sion here? And I'm like, he came with me. He's wearing my shirt. They're totally going to put those photos in Muay Siam wearing my shirt, which is going to be so badass.
Amazing. Can you imagine?
Tian, who's been training with me in Petungdurang, came up to Chiang Mai. He's done training and he just came up to like kind of vacation a little bit and he came to my fight, so that was cool. He got to meet Karahat. He got to watch me fight.
Walt Zink from the East Coast.
Walt Zink from the East Coast, who's been following me forever. I've seen Walt Zink's name forever. Came and took photos, which hopefully we'll see. I'm sure we'll see them. He's very nice. And Cobb, who is the promoter up here, I've said this many times, I feel like he doesn't really like me, but I think he's actually, again, like me, in that he's really just like stoic all the time.
Very flat.
It's like my brother Shane.
Like Sylvie.
Right?
Yeah.
I am definitely a hero to Cobb because when I was like, I fucked up the time.
Did not cancel.
I did not cancel. I was like, I'm putting it to you. Will you let me fight? I have this Karchuk fight and then I'll drive up and I'll get there at like 10 at the latest. And he was like, you're going to have to because I can't move you to a different day. And he was not like, I'm just going to cancel you. He was like, you're going to have to come on the 26th because I put to you. So he totally like...
You came through.
He was hardcore.
It was a very tough fight too.
And I was hardcore.
Was trying to end you.
She kicked
me
in the head.
She has 7 kilos on you.
I think she had 8 today. I was very light when I weighed in.
Oh, wow. Very nice. Maybe she tried to end you.
Yeah, that was like I think that was the 6th or 7th time I fought her, and she beat me once by cutting me, and it was like one of the worst cuts I've ever had because it hit a vein, and I had to go get like deeper stitches. Maybe that's why I don't like her.
Yeah, that was probably your worst cut because of the vein.
She's a really good fighter though. Nanghong's really good.
Yeah, but she has a kryptonite with the clinch.
Yes.
And that's your
And all these people were coming up to me and they were like, just clinch her. And I'm like, no, I know. I've fought her before. I know. Also, this is an interesting thing. In my Karchuk fight, I got down on myself because I was getting the same advice from Karahat every time I went to the corner, and I just wasn't doing it. And I wasn't fighting the way I'd like envisioned in my head, and I was like getting upset that all of the stuff that I did leading up to this fight, as though you can do the same things, was just not coming out. I fought really well in my Karchuk fight. Had that been not Karchuk, I would have won it 100%. Karchuk, there's no points. You don't win or lose. You just draw.
Unless you knock out. Yeah.
I did not knock out. But you get to be like, I didn't do the things that I was supposed to do for 5 hours in the car. And then you get out and you knock your opponent out by skipping your fucking left leg back the way Karahat's been telling you 5 hours ago all through your fight. And you don't fix things immediately. And you have different opponents and they know different things about you. And you just, in Den's words, do your best. So I'm going to quote 2 more people before finishing this out. The first one is that I had my first ever and one of only 2 boxing fights at Gleason's many years ago. And Gio, who's really cool, Giovanna, in the ring before they announced the winner, we were talking to each other about how we were going to spar together because I lived up by West Point and she was at West Point. But after the fight, she went into the bathroom while I was changing and said to a girl who was there also with me, Melissa, she goes, "That chick is fucking crazy." I was like, I want people saying that about me. What an awesome thing to say after a fight that I kind of got my ass handed to me.
You overheard it, right?
I overheard it.
Yeah.
And Melissa was like, "Did you hear what she just said about you?" But I'm not a boxer, so I was totally like, that's amazing that she felt that way, that I kept coming at her because I had no boxing skills. Quote 1, Gio, "That chick is fucking crazy." Quote 2, when I told Emma this was gonna happen, I'm like, so this is happening. I'm gonna go fight Karchuk, get in the car, and then go fight at Taipei. Emma, who I love very much, goes, that's like a 7 on the Sylvie scale of crazy. So it actually made me feel so much better. Emma, thank you. Gio, thank you, both of you, for understanding my crazy. And again, Karahat for understanding my crazy. And to all my teachers who I can never name because there are so many of them, but I love you, Master K. Pinu, thank you for always putting up with me. And tonight I was Sit Crew Yotseon on the program because everyone loves him so much. They're like, put his name everywhere. So, fight 229, done. 230, done. 203 stitches. We're talking about big numbers here. I'm gonna get some soup. All right.
Nice, baby.